language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talk today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Urgency of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. It's going to be some open line, looks like. The rain keeps many things away, even the dust down, the weeds watered. Sometimes other things as well. 1 o'clock though, we're going to have a chance to chat about the tourism management plan as we have some guests in the studio. We'll tell you about that. But between now and then, let's take your calls and talk to you about whatever you want. Looking at the date, looking at the day, and obviously being impacted by the weather. Rather interestingly, I decided to step out and got stuck. I even got my hair wet. You imagine that? 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. So if you're out there, please drive extra, careful on our roads. Windy in some places, almost wet, almost everywhere. And those gusts can catch you off guard. So if you got to go out, if you have to go out, be careful. If you can stay in while it blows over, do that as well. And someone was sharing with me, you're recognizing that, it wasn't that long ago when we were, in the throes of Hurricane Ivan. You see Hurricane Isaac out there in the Eastern Caribbean now, perhaps being somewhat in a similar position. So let's keep them in prayer. Let's make sure that we are prepared as well and extend a helping hand. A quick phone call to neighbor, friend, family, just to see if they may need an extra help. Make sure we are cognizant of it. But in the meantime, perhaps you're stuck somewhere and you need somebody to talk to. Well, DJ Lynn is on the lane. He's not a bad fella, plays some excellent music. I actually, was listening to his countdown the other day and I felt bad. I should have asked him. I got to number 3 and I had to step out of the car, who were the number 2 and the number 1 theme songs of the day. Maybe Lynn can drop me in. Let me just switch this set. Lynn, are you ready to talk to me, man?
No, I just wanted to say, it is actually quite rainy when your hair gets wet. So I was actually impressed with that one, yeah.
Hey, listen, man, I got soaked, right? My pants. And what happened, how I had the car parked, just so that I thought I was being smart. Right under the, proper term for that, where the roof comes over the building, and all I did was to serve as a sheer drop for the water to just gush it off. The car is clean though, by the way. That one side of the car, spotless.
That one side is spotless, yeah. I was actually driving up from Savannah. Went home for a quick lunch, checking the dog, and came back down. And when I was coming back, I was absolutely amazed by how much rain and how things can move and change so quickly, because visibility was like almost at zero as I was heading back here. So I just want to advise drivers, like what you said, if you can, stay off the roads. And then also be careful when you're going to pick up your kids from school as well.
That's it, man. And something that I saw a few cars were doing, and you tend to see it more in the States, they actually slowed down, put on their flashers, hazard lights, whatever you call them. And, the driving lights are on, but they actually had their hazards on and they were going slow. You could see that these people were being extremely cautious. And, you don't realize how much water certain parts of the road, wheeler drive, certain parts of the road.
And sometimes we think we may know our vehicles, It's like, okay, well, all right, that's fine. You're not giving yourself enough space between your vehicle and the next one. And all your brakes won't lock up properly because they're now wet. Maybe they're worn down. Your tires don't grip the road as it should. Mm-hmm. So, definitely have to use caution when you're out there. And like we said, use your lights, use your flashes, be cognizant of other drivers, and just try to be safe. And
the thing is, in some of our vehicles, as you share, you're driving along and it tends to sort of spray in the water away. It sprays it up on your windshield. It makes your visibility that much worse.
That happened to me twice.
Yeah. But if you think about it, if you're going to spray it on somebody else too, just a consideration for them, but the potential negative consequence. And it doesn't take much. Your car swerves, you get an accident. Some serious things could occur. A little caution could help. So for those of you who are joining us, it's 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Share your thoughts with us as we invite you to be a part of this Monday edition of Talk Today. We got a call online. Let's go to our phone. Say good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon. All right. 1-800-534-8255. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome.
Hi, Sterling. How are you?
Almost dry. How about yourself?
I'm almost dry, too. I just want to say what you all were just saying there and being extra careful on the road. Sterling must say it like this. We got a lot of idiots out here on the road flying to the water and drowning the car alongside of them. They got, they're really, really ludicrous when it comes to these this weather. Okay, drowning people, killing people to a certain extent. And school is about to be over short in a couple hours. So I just pray and hope that they'll respect the message when they see us all stop to let our children off. They will probably hip scotching across water. So just ask them to be very, very careful and don't try to overtake the bus at no point in time while we're taking our kids home this afternoon. And I also want to say, Sterling, when you go use the blow dry in your hair, just put it on low heat about 15 minutes before the sun gets okay? I'm trying to be funny with you.
No, listen, you go right ahead, man. I mean, we got to laugh, but I laugh because, my brother said to me, make sure you put the blow dryer in the jet, in the jet setting so that they can make sure you get it dry properly. So you say low, he say jet. Let me see which one works best, right?
You go with low heat about 2 minutes from the shop. Okay?
There you go. All right.
Yeah, you can have a great one.
Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you for that, reminder that we should be extra careful, as DJ Lynn said earlier. We're going to be picking up with children. It's Monday, probably all sorts of mindsets already. But if it's, our children are at schools, let's be very, very careful because, who knows? They might be wanting to splash in the rain. They may want to run quickly and jump into the car so they don't get, caught in the rain too much. Either way, you're going to be moving in and out and about. So let's be very, very careful, including with great respect when we're going into our homes, into our garages, into our yards, our driveways, and the like. Sometimes we may become a little bit inattentive because we're in our homes and it's our safe area. Sometimes accidents happen closer to home, they say. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Call and share your thoughts with us. What better way than to spend a rainy, wet Monday afternoon in the company of friends. And you got DJ Lynn on the other side, man. Here we are. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Sterling.
Afternoon.
Listen, this is here in West Bay. We have a real problem on Crescent Close.
Okay.
Right by Grace Christian Academy.
Yes, sir.
It seems like every year I have to call in Public Works to come and clear the drain or because the drain is on a private property and the road is terrible. It's in holes. A few weeks after this rain, now they'll come and put some Barber Green in it and let the vehicles pack it in because they don't roll it. The road needs to be fixed properly and the drain done properly because now it's flooded. So no child can walk from either Wesleyan or Grace Academy or parents because the road is flooded, and that continues once we have rain. And I think that it's time for somebody to look at it, and because our children have to get to school and from school, and it is wise for them to try to get these roads mitigated because these problems has not been here just yesterday. But they've been ongoing for years, and they just do a patchwork job, and it needs to be done properly. So that's the first case. Secondly, I heard that the police has been doing some very stringent jobs on the tinted windows. And I'm wondering if that is not perhaps doing double standards. What about all these vehicles that has all of these graphics on the rear windows and the side windows, and you cannot see any image of the person who was driving? I'm wondering if that is not sending double standards to the people who are in charge. I know that business people want to do the advertising, but then the person who has a little darker tint on the glass gets fined, and all these vehicles, you cannot see who's driving it, and they drive careless in a lot of cases as well. So I think that we need to be able to look at things thoroughly rather than just arbitrarily and picking what we want to find and what we want to arrest people for and all of the things. We need to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and do the right thing.
So let it apply to everybody across the board, huh?
Yeah, I believe so, because if you're going to say that you cannot have tint, and the reason for that is because it has to be a certain percentage because you need to see who is behind the wheel, then that should be the same thing for whatever goes on the windscreen and the side windows, because then you still can't see who is at the wheel, or sometimes you think the vehicles are driving by themselves. The third thing is that you've got people who are driving vehicles, you can't even see their head.
Yeah, they're inside the vehicle.
I don't know how they ever see the road. If you see their car seat, it looks like a bed. And they are looking either through the steering wheel, they can't see the road, and they're speeding. So a lot of these things that we see happening, and we're thinking that it is just probably the bumps in the road. And, of course, the other thing is the cars are so low to the road, they can't even go over a pothole. So these are some of the things that I think that has to be reviewed and looked at carefully, because then, as I said, we are setting up ourselves for being castigated as having double standards. So those are the things that I think very much needs to be looked at.
All right, well, I certainly appreciate you sharing that. And as you do that, someone just sent a message in saying, what about people who are driving inside their vehicles, and you can't even, their faces are covered. I'm trying to picture what this person is sharing, but basically, what's the purpose of, if you're in your vehicle?
It's probably the guys who are doing the lawns and still have on their towels and stuff over their faces. Yeah, these are things that has to be looked at very carefully. Otherwise, we are setting up ourselves for another fall.
Yep. Well,
thank you for that's all I wanted to share.
No, thank
today,
you for sharing that.
I think it is it's something we may have overlooked, but these things do add up from time to time.
Yeah, man. Well, they make good sense, man. Thank you, and hopefully they can be resolved. And enjoy the weather. Stay safe, all right? And as the caller shared, maybe it's in your area. Perhaps there are things as the rain's clear that you can do to make it not only safer for others, but for yourselves as well. Whether there's a drain on your property or other places, maybe there's some other debris, perhaps unattended vegetation. Who knows? There may be little things that this weather here would be a good reminder, not just for aesthetics, but for our own safety, and especially if it's in an area where you may find children at play and the like. 8949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. We go to our phones? Hey, good. Okay. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hi, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Afternoon, my friend. How are you?
I'm very thankful, pleasantly blessed.
Amen.
I'm wondering now if the geniuses who designed this new airport project realize now that that jetways probably was a good thing to try to construct or install while this astronomical amount of money is being spent. You got planes landing, passengers got to remain on the aircraft for extended periods of time because, obviously because the rain is too heavy for them to disembark. Those two domes that they have there, I'm sure that when you do the cost analysis of that, it wouldn't have been much different, at least for two jetways. I'm sure two jetways going to cover what that big old dome that's there. Architects always drawing all these things, but like a friend of mine said, perhaps you got to tell the architect, well, if you want it there, you pay for it and see how quick you can take it out, right? but then in the same piece, the authority should is the final say. The architect can draw, and normally, 9 out of 10 times, what he draws is what you give him to draw.
Well, that's the thing. Do we want them to build, monuments onto themselves, or are we looking at what's effective, efficient, and in our best interest?
Exactly. So it's really, there's no reason why jetways could not have been a part of that, a part of that redevelopment of our airport, and with the amount of money and that's being spent. And there's absolutely no reason why we should not have had an upstairs area for departure and a downstairs area for arrival. If according to what the government is saying in terms of the amount of tourism that is projected to be stayover visitors, then what we are doing now is a futile exercise in relation to this airport. I mean, you should be looking at. They should have looked at doing upstairs for departures and downstairs for arrivals, or however they wanted to do it. It was very, very, simple to do at that time. No, it's no longer.
Yeah, there, sir. All right. Yeah, drop that caller off. Hopefully we'll be able to rejoin him as his picks up. All right. Couple of quick breaks, couple of nice callers online. Please stay tuned. We'll come back. We'll join you all.
The Chamber of Commerce Business Excellence Awards are back. Saturday, October 27th at the Ritz-Carlton. Join in as we honor the contributions of the Cayman business community, celebrate the lifetime achievements of an outstanding business leader, and enjoy live musical entertainment. The Business Excellence Awards are proudly sponsored by the Ministry of Commerce, Brit K, Caribbean Alliance, Coldwell Banker, Yellow Media Group, and more. Visit businessexcellenceawards.ky for more info. The Business Excellence Awards, Saturday, October 27th. For tickets, call 743-9129.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for joining us. 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Let's some callers online. Hey, let's go to our phones. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for sharing with us.
Darling?
Hey, good afternoon.
Yeah, that caller just now
Mm-hmm.
is 110% right. I work at that airport, and the question that is being asked, what is the purpose of that? I don't know what you want to call it. A ridge hanging over back in front of that airport. It has no protection from the rain. Absolutely none. Absolutely none, Sterling. And the money that they take and build that airport with all those things coming in here, you want to tell me they couldn't at least put two jetways, like that gentleman said? Now they're going to go and get someone to come in and try to build a dock for us and hold it for 25 years. And we got an airport where people are still getting drowned. Which one is more important? The cruise ship passengers or the over passengers that come here and stay for the days and spend money, and especially in the winter time when they come to spend time in their condos, in timeshares and hotels, whatever they may choose that they have here on this island. It is ludicrous and it's a shame to see that kind of money is put into that airport and they have no protection. You got infants coming off of that airport, out of that plane in air condition, and coming off in rain, and going back into air condition, and then coming outside into air conditioned cars, and then dropped off to their hotel or condo or their private homes or wherever they may be going. This is crazy. Our government, and I don't give a, you know what, I don't give a rat's what to think about me, but we don't see no further than our nose tip. And if we don't start going about our nose tip, we will never ever get this country the way we want it. I am fired up because in that airport is just something else. It's just something else. But I just thank you, Sterling.
Thank you, too. All right, appreciate you sharing again. Hey, go back to your phones. Welcome. You're on Talk Today. All right, 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Call and share your thoughts with us as we look at some of the things you share. And you can always WhatsApp 925-3261. And always more important for us to hear or call us. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon to all our listeners.
Afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Yeah, it's okay. Cloudy and overcast and the bright here. Just letting you know, I'm not picking you up. I'm not receiving a radio Cayman nor a Rooster on my radio. Probably it's a technical fault. We had some severe electrical storm here a few evenings ago, and that could be as a result of some damage to the communications tower or something. Did you get any other callers mentioning that?
We're aware of some issues. So since probably Friday or so, the weather, sometimes things happen. Our apologies, and hopefully we get it resolved very shortly for you.
Okay, fine. And we have to be very concerned about the what's the activity up in the Atlantic. I know the first one, Florence, is projected to go way to the north and hit the United States, and the other one that's headed for Martinique, that's about in the middle of the Caribbean. That's the one we need to keep our thoughts on where that may end up after getting into the Caribbean. And then the other one that's coming behind that, Helene, that's supposed to turn when it gets further west and go toward the United States as well. But everybody needs to be thoughtful and concerned and be active on what's happening up in the Atlantic, because it's getting very active. Even around here, good probability of something developing right around these islands. So cloudy and overcast. Nice cool day here in the Brack. How is it down there?
Right here, it's rainy, windy, wet, but still wonderful. And it was just a reminder that we need to always be thankful, always be prepared, and always be positioned to try to be as helpful as we can to others, because we never know, what may spray our way.
Yes, that is correct. Surely got to be concerned and thoughtful and considerate. Definitely so.
All right. For what it's worth, if you go to 91.9, you'll find the last one there. So see if that works for us up there.
Okay, 91.9.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, understood.
All right. Thanks very much. Anything else you want to share with us?
That is it for now. Except on the maritime field, we have a ship coming by loaded with liquid, almost like liquid dynamite, ammonium nitrate, coming by north of Cayman this evening. That's coming from Lithuania, near Russia. That's a load of liquid ammonium nitrate that's used for fertilizer, for actually growing crops, and also for making dynamite, liquid ammonium nitrate. We talked about that, I think it was last week, when some pilot sighted something on the water off the Grand Cayman, like 30 miles, caustic, and found out it to be like caustic soda. Ammonium nitrate is the same thing. When they wash out the tanks, it's a whitish sort of foam on the water. If that's ever seen, that can be one of the things as a discharge from that type of cargo. So that's what unusual thing we got going by here. That will be tonight, actually.
All right.
North of Cayman Brack.
All right. Well, thanks, man. Keep us posted, especially when there's anything, a little bit out of the ordinary. Always appreciate you keeping a watchful eye overseas, man. Enjoy your afternoon, man, and keep us posted.
Yes, one more thing. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the biggest cruise ship in the world, the Symphony of the Seas, will be coming to the Caribbean in November. It's expected to depart Miami on the 17th of November, and it will be going to Roatan in Honduras. Imagine they're going to take the world's biggest ship, brand new, down in Roatan, and there may be a possibility of it going to Belize. Looks like the ports of call is Costa Maya in Mexico, and Roatan, Belize. It will be going to St. Thomas, possibly Labadee, and it could be passing by Grand Cayman on one of those weekly trips from Palmas, Jamaica, back to passing Grand Cayman and on to Cozumel. And that's the latest one. The one that is coming here is on October the 11th, and her name is Silver Cloud. It has a capacity of 302 passengers, 514 feet long. That's a good-sized ship. That's the next one coming here. In October, that will be coming from Santiago, Cuba, coming to Cayman Brack and spending not the full day, probably a half day, and then going back to Jamaica. And it may have some other voyages here to Cayman Brack in the future or later time into the year. But like I was saying, if we could get something arranged, the tourism department could arrange for some of the ships that are in the Caribbean year-round to come here during the good weather months, because we mostly get an arrival of a cruise ship during the winter months, and several times it's choppy seas and they have to bypass us. Like Grand Cayman, when the cold front is on too, they have to bypass there. But like Cayman Brack, that has an adequate business from that, if we could get it during the summertime, like how many good days of the year in the summer that has good weather all around the island here, that would be the time for Cayman Brack. But it works out mostly around October, December, all through January and March when it's full front season. So whoever can do anything about getting the smaller ones to come here during the summer months, all through the year, that needs to be looked into and to be done.
Well, this is it. And perhaps as we move it forward, we'll see the whole country benefiting more from our, continued development. Hey, thank you very, very much for sharing that. We'll pause, take our breaks. When we come back, we'll get a chance to join our guests. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Brand Source Home Gallery has been appointed the exclusive Cayman supplier for Duravit bathroom products. Duravit is the leading international manufacturer of bathroom ceramics, tubs, and showers, recognized around the world for beautiful, functional products. Winner of top industry awards, Duravit collaborates with leading European designers to provide the most elegant and innovative bath products. If you're ready to bring style, comfort, and innovation to your bathroom, visit Brand Source Home Gallery to see the new Duravit showroom and meet the in-house bath designer. Whether you're planning a functional family bathroom or a personal spa retreat, browse the Duravit collection and be inspired. Brand Source Home Gallery, delivering a new standard in custom designed bathrooms. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Are you ready to pace yourself? Sunday, September the 23rd on West Bay Road at the Public Beach. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman's 7th Annual Delano Hislop Memorial Journey for Life 15-mile walk run. Register today and do your part to help raise awareness for prostate and colon cancer and also raise funds to help support victims and survivors in the Cayman Islands. Registration fee is only $25. For more information, visit www.lionsgcmpacce.com or call 917-7223. The Delano Hislop Memorial Journey for Life 15-mile walk run. Sunday, September the 23rd on West Bay Road at the Public Beach.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All-Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Attention Breeze Fusion fans and supporters, registration is now open for the 12th annual Grand Cayman Breeze Fusion 5K walk run. We are calling on you to help us in raising funds for the NCBO and for the John Gray High School Musical Department. Registration is only $15 for adults if registered by September 30th. The walk run will take place on Saturday, November 3rd at the Smith's Bacadeer in Grand Cayman. But you must be registered by September 30th to take advantage of the lower fee. Visit CaymanActive.com to register today or stop by Radio Cayman on Elgin Avenue.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
You may have heard of them by now. GreenTurtle.ky, a one-stop shop for your mobile needs. Whether shopping for a new phone or topping up a loved one, it's time to hop aboard the Green Turtle Express. From 24-hour delivery in Grand Cayman to sending credit worldwide, GreenTurtle.ky is the future of mobile. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. GreenTurtle.ky. They get there first.
As parents and a community, it is our desire to have happy children who are able to cope with all of life's challenges. However, despite our loving support, sometimes our children suffer in silence and put on a brave face. Do you suspect that your child is experiencing problems, secretly struggling to cope, and is overwhelmed? If there is a possibility that they are anxious, experiencing troubling thoughts, and are suffering in silence, it is important to seek professional help. The Ministry of Community Affairs, in partnership with the Alex Panton Foundation, is hosting 5 community presentations on self-harm prevention this month and in September. These free talks cover how to spot the warning signs and who to turn to for expert advice. A question and answer will follow each talk. To get more information on the dates and venues of these presentations, please call 244-2426 or visit the Cayman Islands government website today.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you for joining us. And as we have an opportunity to welcome our colleagues to the studio to talk about the National Tourism Plan, we have Mr. Kyle McLean, the Assistant Director, and Mr. Secretary for Finance and Administration. Mr. Kyle, I can see why your parents are so proud of you, man. Look at you. He's handsome, even though he's not tall. He's muscular. Almost like my brother, man. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you.
And Miss Jessica Pollock, always a pleasure to see you shine, whether on the field or in the boardroom.
Thank you very much.
And then the manager of Tourism Development Services, right?
Yes,
Over
sir.
at the department, both at the Department of Tourism.
Yes, sir.
And there's some of us who not just very respectful, but fondly look at tourism, sort of the product of the tourism industry, raised by it, fed by it, growing in it, and we see the incredible benefits to families, to businesses, and to the country. So hopefully we can embrace it and continue to recognize that whether we're somewhere in finance in one of the the financial services firms, or whether we're working directly, we're all ambassadors for those who come, give them their experience. Hopefully they'll return over and over and over and over, right? The National Tourism Plan maybe help some of us because we see it in the papers, we heard about it in the media, but maybe we don't quite appreciate why it is that we're looking at it. What is it we're doing? Could you help us to get a better perspective, Ms. Jessica?
Yeah, absolutely. So our National Tourism Plan, it's a 5-year strategic document which really looks at the vision for tourism. Where do we want to be in 5 years? How do we want to guide our industry? We know that we're growing, and that's a wonderful thing, and we have to make sure that we're managing that. So how do we look at really managing tourism for long-term growth so that we can continue to see that growth year over year? The National Tourism Plan really seeks to address a lot of the key areas with regards to tourism. This document really looks at tourism from a very sustainable approach. And oftentimes when we think of sustainability, people automatically go to this idea of green. And yes, absolutely, green products and the environment is a key part of sustainability, but there's 4 different pillars when it comes to sustainability, and our National Tourism Plan seeks to look at all of those pillars, those being economic, social, environmental, and culture. So this document, we hope, will guide us for the next 5 years and help to manage and grow tourism in the Cayman Islands.
And that is something, as I was looking at it from, we look at different economic models, we look at different approaches, and with the greatest respect, Cayman is not unique in trying to look at its tourism product. We've had, the Cougars Library report when we were just little children. I mean, some of us weren't even around that then, right? Then we had different governments with different iterations of different tourism plans trying to see where we can move on. I remember when the Green Globe certification first came about 20 odd years ago or more now. Countries are looking at it to see what we can do. But it's more than just our greenness or our environmental impact. How does it play into the economics, to the environment, to the culture? And as you said, that social aspect. And this is where the tourists over the years have returned fondly. You don't have mountains, you're not zip lining across some canyon, but wow. Those are things, okay. Numbers are important, man. In fact, the number plate Sunday, just kidding. I don't know what played. I will find out. I just kidding. But no, that finance and administration, that impact that it has, that from that investor who is looking at expanding to that new entrepreneur who is looking at entering the industry to the country and managing its spend, comes into play. So, welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely the trickle-down effect is a major component that it can benefit all that is in, all residents in the Cayman Islands. And that's definitely a focus of the NTP. And, just trying to make sure that, all sectors are, well represented and everything like that. But, obviously the tourism being one of the major pillars in our economy is extremely important to ensure the, just the longevity of our economy.
Now, I would just, with the greatest respect, maybe love us to have a conversation. If at any point I say or ask anything, it's only because sometimes I think, it's not intended for you. With the greatest respect, I think if, you were high up on the scale, then it would be easier because those are the people who would be the ones sort of making decisions, deciding certain things, asking certain questions, and then coming down, lower down to say, okay, is this technically possible? And then it comes back up. That's the way decisions and discussions hopefully evolve. But I was thinking of those 4 pillars of sustainability, and I'm thinking of the word that we may have heard some time ago, now and again here, carrying capacity. Where does that play in? Does it come into factor into this whole discussion?
Well, as a part of the National Tourism Plan, we have a visitor management strategy. And in that strategy, we seek to address the four different areas that would touch carrying capacity, those being Stingray City, the airport, the Georgetown Harbor and Cruise Port, and then Cayman Turtle Center. And what that strategy looks to do is to identify that there could be and there are carrying capacity issues, especially at Stingray City, and looking as to setting goals and strategies as to better manage that attraction. The same process would be taken with the other 3. But in that visitor management strategy, that's where we seek to try to guide carrying capacity.
Not just overuse or abuse, but the fact that when you go there, you'll have a enhanced experience, so that you get a chance. It's, not only going into one of those big attractions in some part of the world where they say, okay, this ride can only take so many at this time, and then there's a line out there, and then they want to move you in as quickly as possible, perhaps give you a little air conditioned space for a little bit, then into something else.
Right.
Not unlike that in the simplest form.
I think that what we've seen is that in other larger destinations too, not just in the Caribbean but throughout the world. I'm thinking of areas in Paris and Florence, Italy, where they're having discussions with regards to carrying capacity, and it is important because, like you said, you want to make sure that you're giving the visitor the absolute best experience, and that's what our strategy seeks to address, is to make sure that every person feels that they're getting value for money, and that we're able to best manage that attraction or that area to make sure that it's not in overdrive.
Exactly. You want to go to see the Louvre or the Eiffel Tower, for instance. Hey, you want to see it, but then are you going to wait 4 days in line? Yeah, right. It's not a concert to see Bill Joel. No, it's not worth it. And when you get there, is it what you expected it to be? Not unlike that promised excursion to the sandbar, or perhaps a little day up Bacchus or something else.
Right.
Now, 5 years is a very, very short time. Long when you're waiting for that waiting date to roll around, but a short time. How does that work for us as we look at over this 5-year National Tourism Plan?
I think that in the next 5 years, if we were able to accomplish everything out of this National Tourism Plan, we'd be well on our way to ensuring the sustainability of our sector. And there's always opportunity to relook at long-term strategic planning in the future, obviously. But I think that this plan, it's important for us to have a shorter time frame to be able to say, we know that we have this time frame to work towards, and this is what we want to accomplish in this. And once we're able to sort of achieve everything that we've been outlining here, then we'll be in a better position, 5 years from now, to say, okay, well, what's next? What are the next steps in order for us to continue on this track of sustainability?
And those are some things that we want to ask you as we sort of plan the discussion now. What are some of those things we're looking at trying to achieve, within the next 5 years? How we, as a public, whether we're in industry directly as employees or as investors, budding entrepreneurs, or whether we're not quite sure where do we fit in there. When I get up in the morning and I go do this job, I rarely see anybody, much less, am I a stakeholder? Am I a key player? Maybe help us to understand that. And equally, first off, the document itself. How available is it? How do we access it?
Well, you can access it at www.caymanntp.ky, but we also have hard copies available at the Government Administration Building, Department of Tourism, and they're also available at some other public places, so we have them in grocery stores. But if you need a hard copy, feel free to come by DOT and we would give you that. But caymanntp.ky is the best place to access that.
And I recognize some of us love electronic versions of things for different reasons. Maybe we're environmentally conscious. There are those some of us who love our hard copies. If you read a book, if it's not a hardback, it's not worth reading, right? There are different preferences, but get a copy, get access to it, look at it. It's not a difficult read. You may find that you don't agree with anything. You may find that you won't agree with certain things, but at least you'll be aware of what is there. One of the things we want to ask of you as well, in terms of looking at the use of spaces, whether it's we are through the term carrying capacity, or as we look at the four sort of aspects of sustainability, to what extent would we know where we are in relation to our use and capacity of, say, the Stingray City or the Turtle Farm, for instance? Cayman Turtle Center. Mr. Billy, I'm so sorry. I get it right. I get it right. Tim. Yeah. So say the Turtle Farm. I don't know. Should we call it mariculture if you're not careful? Have we looked at it in analysis over the years to say, okay, well, this is where we are. We can still take a bit more. Maybe some days, actually, it's a little bit later than other days. Or I was like, are those things that we've sort of determined or are able to determine?
Yeah, absolutely. Within the document itself, that's where we started. So where are we now? Is the question that we asked, and we looked at multiple different areas of arrivals. What are the statistics for various attractions? What are the major attractions in the Cayman Islands? And kind of assessing where we're at now. And then what the document kind of takes you through is, okay, well, where do we want to go? And then it's like, okay, well, now we know where we're at. We know where we want to go. But then the next part is, how do we get there? And the document seeks to take you completely through that so that you're able to see step by step how we arrived at these goals and strategies that we've come up with. All right.
If you would, not just as an academic exercise, but sometimes some people need to be able to hear a voice and get, maybe handheld a little bit through the journey to be able to see it constructively, perhaps detach somewhat emotionally. When we come back from our news break, could you take us through that?
Sure.
Where we at, where we're going, how we're going to get there, some of the salient points. There's always going to be some debate, whether it's rhetorical or otherwise. Hey, that's fine, but at least if we got a basis, then at least we can be prepared. I mean, you can't play a football match unless you don your boots, right?
That's true.
All right, so let's get it started. Ms. Jessica Pollock, Mr. Kyle McLean will be our guest. We'll pause in a short second, take a break for our news headlines. When we come back, take us through the document, share a little chocolate. I mean, DJ Lynn brought chocolate. I'll break chocolate with you. During the break, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman.
Headline. Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
A coroner's court jury finds the death of 25-year-old Rowena Scott, a mother of four, to be a result of misadventure. Rowena Scott died after her car collided with a concrete column along Shamrock Road in March of 2015. Ms. Scott's partner's statement, which was read during the proceedings, dismissed rumors of an argument and fight moments before the accident. Neither Ms. Scott nor her partner were wearing their seatbelts. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, Jeffrey Owens, the Cosby Show star who was job-shamed after being spotted working in a grocery, has taken Tyler Perry up on his offer of a TV role. Perry's spokeswoman said Owens will appear in 10 episodes of his drama The Haves and the Have-Nots. Owens played Elvin Tobido in The Cosby Show, which aired from 1985 to 1992. Singer Avril Lavigne has revealed she'd accepted death when writing her newest single from her sickbed during one of the scariest moments of her life. The 33-year-old singer contracted Lyme disease, which is spread by infected ticks, in 2014. Symptoms of Lyme disease include tiredness and headaches. And when a Dutch teenager went swimming in the sea in Greece 7 years ago, he was shocked to see more plastic than fish. In fact, Boyan Slot was so appalled by the pollution that he soon started to campaign for the oceans to be cleaned up. This weekend, backed by major investment and some massive engineering, a vast plastic collection system will be towed out of San Francisco Bay. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we had the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Save 50% off a complete pair of glasses with any student eye exam. Now extended until September 28th. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook, located in the Caymanian Village. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Not all insurance is created equal, but who has the time to shop around? Take the guesswork out of your insurance coverage with Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Let us match you with the best coverage to suit your needs at a price to suit your wallet. Plus, get superior customer service from dedicated claims professionals to ensure speedy claims processing. Get your insurance through Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Do you know that conditions may change suddenly in an emergency and you may have to leave at a moment's notice? When a hurricane threatens, you should have a grab-and-go survival kit. This kit should include your personal identification and other vital documents, which should be sealed in a watertight pouch or container. For more tips and information, visit the Hazard Management Cayman Islands office or caymanprepared.ky. This hurricane tip is brought to you by Hazard Management Cayman Islands and Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us as we have in our studio our excellent company of Mr. Kyle McLean and Ms. Jessica Pollock as we talk about the National Tourism Plan. And, Mr. Kyle is the Assistant Director for, Finance Admin at the DOT and, Ms. Jessica, Tourism and Development Services, right? The manager. Mm-hmm. We look at the tourism product, and I think many of us grew up understanding that, the financial sector and the hospitality sector, those are our pillars of employment. The prospects are great there. The contribution to GDP. Mm-hmm. And then as we get older, we start to appreciate that we ourselves can, venture into it. We see different iterations of people, whether through residential or commercial properties. We serve it. But our tourism plan for the next 5 years, Ms. Jessica, you start us off in A and move us through to, we'll see where we get.
So when we were talking just now, Mr. Sterling, we were talking about, where we're at now, how we arrived at these different things. So within the plan, that's what we sought to do. We sought to look at, what is the real situational analysis of Cayman right now. So we looked at various things from arrivals. We looked at what are the demographics of the visitor that's coming to the Cayman Islands right now. We looked at what attractions they're going to, what activities they're doing in the Cayman Islands. And then we kind of took that information and said, okay, well, we know all of this now. And we have all of this information and we know what our projections are in terms of arrivals and what the impacts on the destination could be from that standpoint. And we said, okay, well, where do we want to go next? So now we move into this idea of, okay, we know where we're at. where do we want to go? What do we want tourism to look like? And as a team, we internally looked at that through consultation process with the public and getting feedback from them and saying, this is what Cayman Islands feel that Caymanians and residents feel that we need for tourism. And we said, okay, well, how do we get there now? And that's the ultimate goal of the strategies that are outlined within the National Tourism Plan. And those main goals, coming up with a vision, and, our vision is protecting our environment, celebrating our cultural heritage, and ensuring a vibrant and tourism economy that benefits all Caymanians. And then we have our goals as the second pillar of that. We've got 6 different goals: safeguard natural cultural heritage, enhance business environment, improve connectivity and infrastructure, deliver on outstanding visitor experiences, workforce development, and then strengthen partnerships. And I think that those goals are where we wanted to go. That's what we wanted to do. And then now the strategy is how we get there. So we have the various strategies that are outlined in the document, and they really dictate how we're going to achieve those goals. And each one has very detailed description as to how we get there. But that's overall the thought process for how this plan came about.
Now, with respect to it, if it's appropriate to ask, we're perhaps many times in the public not appreciative of the role we can play and how we can help to steer, guide, or even develop sometimes some of these policies and these plans. We have a document. This is where the government's going to be working on. We charge as either, stakeholders or civil servants to help to implement and to guide its, successful outcome. The wider public, what's our role? How do we get involved? How do we make sure that it's the most effective outcome? With the greatest respect, civil servants come and go, governments come and go. Hopefully, our beaches are there, our environment is protected for generations and generations. So we have to be good stewards now that we benefit, but also pass it on. So is there anything that we can do, should be doing, and if so, how and what?
Well, the first thing that everyone should be doing is reading the plan and then providing your feedback. This is crucial for us to go forward together for tourism. We need to hear the feedback from the public. And earlier this year, we participated in a number of different town hall meetings, starting in Cayman Brac and then Little Cayman, and then coming over to Grand Cayman, where we were able to get first-hand feedback from not just persons who are normally in the tourism sector, but residents and other persons that normally wouldn't touch tourism, and just getting their feedback about what is important to them. And through this public consultation period, it's so important that you let your voice be heard, and you provide your feedback and what you think should be a priority within the National Tourism Plan.
And I think that's where the public sometimes doesn't appreciate that we play a role. We may not see ourselves directly involved in the tourism sector, but we're out and about. We live in the community. From that tourist that we may encounter in the supermarket to that person walking along the sidewalk somewhere, to on the beach or in the restaurant or elsewhere. That experience, can either sour or encourage, just like we would when we were away, to our family vacation, to some, attraction that we like, whether we're sightseeing elsewhere. It's the same thing. Are we consciously involved in it and seeing that we are ambassadors de facto? Now with that, the plan is developed, is moving forward. Expected sort of implementation outcomes, what sort of timeline and what sort of target sort of dates we're looking at?
Well, the public consultation period will end on the 26th of September. So in terms of timeline and next steps, we would then collate all of the information that we've received with feedback, make edits as necessary, and then have one final approval, and then it would go into it would become a document that we would begin to use. I would say from an implementation standpoint, I think the goal is at the end of the year for it to be finalized and accepted, and for us to begin moving forward with the goals and executing on the strategies.
So as a public, we still have a chance. I mean, the 26th isn't that far away, but it's still a few days. It doesn't take that much to read. Maybe take a little longer to digest. But let's get a copy.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
We have a caller joining us. We're talking about the National Tourism Plan specifically. Mr. Kyle McLean, Ms. Jessica Pollock, our guest. They're from the Department of Tourism. We'll go to our phones. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Yes, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon, my friend. How are you today?
Okay, and good afternoon to you guys also.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, what I really called about today is concerning if I would like to know if the Department of Tourism have any plans in place of putting lifeguards on our public beach at the 7 Mile Beach, and especially during high season. There are a lot of cruise ships in, and the beach is practically full. And also, I don't know if you all have any plans on putting signs on the road reminding our tourists to drive on the left. I think that's something that's also needed, especially for people who are used to driving on the right-hand side of the road in their country. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing. And again, those are things that go across all divides. We as a public, how many of us, leave here and go to the States, for instance, and all of a sudden we're in a parking lot and we're coming out and we go on the left hand. Oops. It happens. So how do we make it safer? If you choose to respond, but we do have another caller. You want to just take them all together? Hey, let's good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. How are you?
I'm okay, Sterling. This is Shane Novi.
Hey, the famous
Jessica.
Nobi. What's up, huh?
Hi, Jessica. Hi, Kyle.
Hi.
Hi, Shane. How are you?
Hi. Yeah, I'm okay, man. Just calling in again about this whole National Tourism Plan. And as you know, I was on air with you a couple of days ago discussing it.
Yes.
Well, one of the first questions, I know that when the minister was on, he pointed out that he wanted to work with people like me over here in East End. But I have sent an email in, which Jessica was CC'd on, from the 18th of August, and yet there's been no response to me. These are key issues. This is a key development plan that's happening, and they're also thinking about changing the law. So I just tell the wider public that they need to be involved in this, because I was not very happy with what they considered a public consultation that went around in the Eastern District. There weren't much people in the East End. There weren't a lot of people, or small business people, put it that way. There weren't a lot of people in Northside. Yes, there were quite a few people in Borden Town, but of course that's our largest district. Now, one of the questions I asked while I was in the emails or in all these meetings was basically in reference to how the law is currently set up, the tourism law that is, and the regulation. And if these things aren't being put in place right now, how are they going to ensure that they're going to be put in place to protect or ensure that the Caymanians or small businesses in the business or in tourism are actually protected? This is a key problem that we have. My email that I forwarded to them on the 18th of August referred to what was discussed in the meeting, and I've been back and forth with them on various times about this, that the display rack that is a part of the law for people to go in there like me and put my flyers in are not in place in certain places or certain hotels. This is key because this is how small businesses or in the tourism industry get their business. So I want to understand, if they're saying they're going to work with people like me, why is it that they cannot respond to my email? Now, further to that, am I still on air?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to know, because last time I got cut off when they were on. I just want to make sure.
Oh, okay.
It's just very sad because they're saying they need public consultation. But what public consultation are you getting if you're not listening to the locals? That's what I want to understand. And I don't mean this directly to Jessica, because she's a really nice girl. We've communicated. She's always responded to me. And, of course, Kyle, he's actually the writer in this. This is directed to the director and the minister, because they were the people who I forwarded this email to. and Jessica was one of those CC'd on it. It is very, very important. I stress this again. The tourism product in the Cayman Islands is very, very important. Very important that we keep the local aspect of it. And it's very important that the people of Cayman go out and listen to what's going on before it's changed, and then we keep on arguing like, well, it's not for us. Right? We have to speak out. We have to be a part of the change. But I don't want to hear people going on there saying that they're setting this out for public consultation. And what type of public consultation if you can't even respond to emails of people who are concerned or in the business?
All right, well, that's as you shared. I think that's important that hopefully the public will take up your, not just the invitation, but I think your strong recommendation that we become conscious of it, involved, and try to affect that change that's coming down. Any other closing thoughts, sir?
More importantly than that is, the authorities or people in these positions have a responsibility to respond to the public when they have a valid concern, right? And it's in the laws that govern those people-headed authority. It's not reasonable for someone to take from the 18th of August to now to respond to someone with a valid concern. So that is my comment or my question to the minister who said that he's working with people like me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let's just pause quickly, take a scheduled break. When we come back, more talk today.
The summer party has started, so watch out for great mobile deals and amazing free gifts from Flow. This summer, get the LTE Stream and Talk prepaid combo that suits you on the fastest 4G LTE network. Share the summer fun with a Flow Large Up combo for $19.99 with 2 gigs of data and 500 minutes to any local number. Plus, you can get free gifts from Flow, like barbecue grills, groceries, and air travel vouchers. Visit discoverflow.ky for more. Terms and conditions apply. Get your Flow prepaid combo and say, watch out, summer.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness,
you may have heard of them by now.
Relaxation.
greenturtle.ky, a one-stop shop for your mobile needs. Whether shopping for a new phone or topping up a loved one, it's time to hop aboard the Green Turtle Express. From 24-hour delivery in Grand Cayman to sending credit worldwide, greenturtle.ky is the future of mobile. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. greenturtle.ky. They get there first.
Are you ready to pace yourself? Sunday, September the 23rd on West Bay Road at the Public Beach. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman's 7th Annual Delano Hislop Memorial Journey for Life 15-mile walk run. Register today and do your part to help raise awareness for prostate and colon cancer and also raise funds to help support victims and survivors in the Cayman Islands. Registration fee is only $25. For more information, visit www.lionsgcmpacce.com or call 917-7223. The Delano Hislop Memorial Journey for Life 15-mile walk run. Sunday, September the 23rd on West Bay Road at the Public Beach.
Honey,
Our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today, and thank you for joining us as we're talking about the National Tourism Plan. And in the studio, Mr. Kyle McLean and Ms. Jessica Pollock, the Department of Tourism. Thanks so much for sharing. For those who called and put some thoughts out there, Ms. Jessica, thank you very much, Mom.
Yes, sir. So we'll look to address the three questions that were brought forth with regards to lifeguards on 7 Mile Beach. Mm-hmm. One of the goals within the National Tourism Plan is public beach management. So it's something that we potentially could look at. So that's one thing. And destination signage with regards to roads is also another point of action. So those two items will be addressed in the National Tourism Plan, and things that we will do better that have been proposed in the strategy document.
Yeah. Again, callers are cognizant of it and seeing how the safety of all of us, but our visitors as well, to make that experience not just enjoyable, but safe. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, as we go forward, what else?
And just to address Mr. Shane's question too, we appreciate the phone call, and I, on behalf of our ministry, I will be ensured to follow up with them so that I can get some direction as to how they'd like for me to proceed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think as he shared, he recognizes, and this is where I think the wider public needs to get involved and be some of the drivers, at least be aware of what's potential on the agenda, and to appreciate that, if we're not affected by it directly, we're going to be affected by it indirectly, which affects us directly.
I think one of the things I can appreciate too about Mr. Shane is that he is very passionate about tourism, and he understands the worth, and he understands his business and how he wants to grow his business. So we very much want to work together with all tourism partners to enhance our tourism products. So I always appreciate him calling in, or anytime he reaches out to me.
And the thing is, he and there are a number of Caymanians like him who are, they're professors. They got a chance to go off to university. They got their education. They have this passion for the sector. My own brothers, likewise. And this is something that they want to do. It isn't something that they're looking at just to make a bag of money. Mm-hmm. They opted maybe not to go into the financial sector with, like the rest of us. They're the ambassadors and that passion. Mm-hmm. So we embrace them as they help us to grow the economy in a sustainable way. Right?
Absolutely.
Definitely. We certainly thank Mr. Edwards for, just encouraging the public to give their feedback and, to be a part of the process. Go on to the website, caymantp.ky, and download the actual plan, and, also contribute to the survey. As Jessica was mentioning earlier, the consultation period ends on September 26th. So still have some time to get information in, and, just make sure that you have, that your voice is heard.
Now, for those who are listening and not sure, they want to make a contribution. They want to comment on something. They want to make a suggestion, however and whatever. How would they go about that in order to be part of this consultation period?
We have a survey that's attached to the document, so it will outline various questions, whether you agree or you disagree. It gives you the opportunity to say whether you feel strongly for it or strongly against, and the opportunity to provide comments as well. So we will collate all of that information once this consultation period has lapsed.
Yeah, and if a person has a question about, either the survey or, if they have a question about the NTP, maybe something that isn't covered in the survey, they can certainly submit that question to ntp@caymanislands.ky, and, someone will respond to them, giving them the information that they're requesting.
And we're all stakeholders, we're all affected by it, It doesn't really matter sometimes if we are on the front line. We all are ambassadors, That was what was short. We talk about, and Mr. Edwards referenced it earlier, laws, the laws governing the tourism sector, for instance. Without being exhaustive, could you give us some of those perhaps more notable laws, ones that we probably should know about and the like?
So the two laws that tourism is governed by in the Cayman Islands is the tourism law, it's a 1995 revision, and the tourism regulations, which is a 2003 edition, and then the tourism taxation law, which would have been revised in 2013. But those are the laws that govern tourism in the Cayman Islands. And as you can appreciate, the tourism law is well over 20 years old now, and our department, in collaboration with our ministry driving it forward, we've been looking at revisions, and we've made some proposals, and we're working towards having those revisions accepted, and having some new proposed laws drafted for public consultation. But yes, those are the three laws. So the tourism law primarily looks at how to govern tourism accommodations, and then the regulation speaks about how those accommodations should be managed. And then tourism tax law is with regards to how those accommodations would then submit their taxes while operating as a tourism accommodation.
Okay, is there a standard tax? I mean, this is the famous TAT that people are talking about, So you have a tourism accommodation as their guests come. Not like we pay when we go overseas and stay in a hotel. Some places taxes are more, sometimes there are more taxes, some are higher. For us, is there a standard tax across the board, no matter where you're staying and what you're staying in, or does it vary?
No, there's a standard tax of 13%.
13%. And that makes it easy, if you're, and it's on the amount. So it doesn't matter if your room is $1,000 a night or if it's $50 a night. It's a flat 13%.
That's correct.
Okay, correct. Only payable by visitors to the shores, collected by the properties to be submitted by a report, maybe about 20th of next month or something else.
28th.
The 28th, right?
28th.
Yeah. So you have your time, and hopefully, that's an issue. That's where we, as a country, derive our benefit from those who come to our shores.
Absolutely.
Right. So the tourism law, the tourism accommodation tax law, and then the third one again was?
Tourism regulations.
Yeah, which was part of the tourism law.
Tourism law.
All right. The management, and again, the safety, the security, the whole upkeep, maintenance, and aesthetics of the premises. All right. That's why the sector is so vibrant. And I think people don't understand how, there are so many different aspects within the sector. You could be an accountant, and you don't have to work in a financial sector. You could be an accountant in the hospitality sector.
Absolutely.
All right. Boy, if I was young again. Now, with this tourism, national tourism plan, obviously there are changes, for one of the better word, they were trying to improve, enhance things we want to introduce, maybe some things that we may want to perhaps curtail, and they're like, how is that captured within the national plan? What are some of the things that we're looking at?
So going back to some of the goals and everything, and talking about like safeguarding our culture and our heritage, improving connectivity, enhancing business environments, workforce development, and our visitor experiences, and delivering outstanding experiences. All of those things really dictate how we will achieve. Well, those are the goals, and then we have the various strategies underneath those. But if I was to pull one out, we talked briefly about understanding that tourism isn't just the water sports industry. It's not just working at Department of Tourism. It's not just working in a hotel. It can span across different things, and that you could be an accountant in a hotel. So, in talking about workforce development, one of the strategies in there is talking about tourism education and making people understand the value of tourism, letting them understand that it is a vibrant career, that you could have, and that is identified within the plan. And I'm happy to say that, my unit that I'm responsible for, we deal primarily with tourism education and getting persons to understand what the value is of tourism as a potential career, and getting people to start that thought process from a young age, and then working in tandem with School of Hospitality Studies so that students feel that I don't have to just be an accountant or nothing wrong with that. But,
I see some accountants. I think so. That's just kidding.
my brother's an accountant, so if you're listening, Rob, sorry. But
some of us are forced to do that, okay?
That there are other lucrative careers, and that tourism isn't just that I have to be in this small contained box. Is that I can be an accountant and work in the tourism field, or I can be a lawyer and work in the tourism field. So that's our overall goal here with that strategy, to educate the public with regards to tourism.
I think to get the perhaps our students in particular to start to see that within our society, there's a time when you look at the properties alongside my beach and other properties. If you're managing or the caretaker or responsible for those properties, the lifelong friendships that you develop over generations, the responsible nature of, if you want to call it, the portfolio that you're managing, is just a different thing. Yeah, they're bricks and mortar, but there are also lives that have been affected, those experiences that people have. How many of us can think back to people who've come to celebrate their 40th birthday or their 40th wedding anniversary? And they wanted to do it here amongst their extended Cayman family, as it were. Those are things that distinguish us and make us attractive. Those are things we need to cherish, and maybe more of us with a vested interest beyond financial can be a part of it.
Absolutely, and I think too that if you're able to speak to a young person and kind of plant that seed and see that there's a passion, because there's a certain servitude that comes in tourism, and I believe that we're all servants, but when you think about that, if you can plant that seed at a young age, now the thought process is that you try to make them understand the value of it, that maybe one day they're the property manager. Maybe they've got their own business that is tourism related and they're overseeing it. So it's really important for us within our national tourism plan to be able to educate young Caymanians so that they can see the value and what their potential career could be.
The thing that was obvious to many but seemed to be ignored by all, this idea that we have this sector that even without any great expenditure in relation to advertising, we've got a product that is almost self-serving. As people who come have an accommodation of sorts, and end of the year they're making a lot of money. How many of us are appreciating that we could be that entrepreneur with that property, whether it's a boutique hotel, whether it's a few cottages here. Once we have a standard, so that economic impact, that potential for the next millionaire, so to speak, we're not appreciating that, and yet we're crying it down in so many ways without understanding the harm that we're doing. Engaging the public then with the consultation, getting us to drive it with the greatest of respect. Some of us will see, if we're not the general manager at the big hotel, or we're not the tourism minister, or the whatever that other title is, then we don't have anything to say. I get a sense that this is a bit different. This is something that is almost being, or should be, for all of us, and impacting all of us as it is.
I think that's definitely what the impression that we want persons to understand. We want this to be a plan that came from the people. We want it to be felt that this isn't just the Department of Tourism just pushing this forward. We need to hear what our industry wants and feels that is important. We want to hear what Caymanians feel is important for tourism and where we need to go, and that's why this public consultation is so important.
We are indeed speaking to Ms. Jessica Pollock and Mr. Kyle McLean from the Department of Tourism. We have a couple of comments here, and not expecting a response to, but I'm just as I look at some of these, someone say, listen, beach accesses, for instance, I'll paraphrase, beach accesses. How do we get to our beaches, both as visitor as well as resident, and what is that engagement interaction? This one said, access to foods, management in terms of natural disasters, this other comment, exposure to farming and the like. Are any of these themes sort of captured in the plan And as I read it, maybe it's just me drawing an inference. I'm thinking again, visitor experience. When they come to the beaches, are they safe? Are they accessible? Are they overcrowded? And to our standards, is that sort of quality management? Are these things sort of what the tourism plan is trying to capture, and how do we manage it?
Most definitely. I would say that under strengthening partnerships within goals, it talks about beach management and what that looks like. So that definitely could fall under with regards to beach access. As with regards to farming, I think that's very interesting because we as a destination know that primarily a lot of our attractions are water-based. So we're constantly pushing for entrepreneurs to think outside the box, and farming is a great way to introduce tourism to a different sector of Cayman. So we're seeing a lot of persons do a lot of farm-to-table dinners and farm-to-table options. Multiple other farmers are doing their own different unique products. And those are things that visitors are looking for. Those are the unique experiences that they're looking for. So the plan definitely looks at different types of tourism activities and how we build on those. One of the things that we were talking about under workforce development, there is proposed that, if you're looking at a career in tourism, how does this plan help you? And there is a proposed development fund that if you're looking to develop a tourism business, you're being able to apply for funding to be able to build your business with that base funding. So this plan is kind of overarching in that it touches so many different things, and we want people to come to us with different ideas to be able to enhance our product. Yeah,
and we're seeing some of these Carbon Islands, I guess with respect to agriculture and tourism, doing certain things like funding a small surcharge in one area, being able to generate a few million to encourage development in another area, similar to what we're looking at. We have a comment. Says, are there any plans to upgrade or expand our tourism product and infrastructure to accommodate some of these things? So what sort of plans are there, and how are we looking at expanding and enhancing?
So one of the third goal for the National Tourism Plan is to improve connectivity and infrastructure. And the main points and the main strategies that have been identified are, the airport. But then it talks about, directional signage. And these are the types of things, the specific infrastructure things that we'll need to put in place to be able to enhance the product so that the visitor understands better where they need to go when they're going to eastern districts or in and around Georgetown, West Bay, Northside, Bordentown. But those are the infrastructure things that are identified within the plan. And then, we know that Owen Roberts is quickly nearing the end of that project, so we look forward to that and being able to provide a better experience for our visitors coming in by air.
Indeed, and I think this is where, again, we see it in the long-term growth and projection. Our population is looking to be increased development across different sectors. As Caymanians, are we looking at what we can do to contribute also to benefit from this increased development, and what aspects? As I was rereading this thing about the farming, I was thinking, the guy has a piece of property, maybe he's developing, a little farming community right there that's attractive to a particular niche market. People come over and maybe it's a working farm. I don't know.
Absolutely.
The things you can do that distinguish you from your competitor, and perhaps pursue the passion that you like, merging different skill sets. But being a part of the plan, being a part of the vision, helping to guide it. When I was just thinking of this other question, this person, I was trying to figure out how best to share it with our listeners from the perspective of the environment. This person was sort of writing along the lines of, we have this emphasis on our environment, from the dump to the protection of the mangroves to the use, and it was questioning, the interaction, presumably between DOE and DOT and the wider business sector to develop it. Now, I don't with the greatest respect to the both of your intellects, don't believe that this would be a question for your pay grade, but how do we get all those different sectors to interact and to play, to appreciate that this is not just 5 years, it's not just 50 years. In some cases, it's generational.
Yeah, and I go back to the plan and talking about strengthening partnerships. Intergovernment cooperation is the first strategy that's underneath there, and we all have to work together, not just for tourism, but just in general, to be cohesive and be more in better cooperation with each other, so that we can all obtain and meet the goals that we need to. It is important. It will be important for us to not just work closely with the Department of Environment, but work with planning, to work with NRA, to work with multiple other different agencies, the Cayman Islands Tourism Association, multiple different agencies, which is actually highlighted in the plan that there's various entities that would be responsible for actually delivering on the various strategies. So that intergovernmental but just interagency coordination is going to be key for us to be able to meet the goals of this plan. And
then we as a public, how we sort of have to guide that as well through our involvement in some of these agencies, our interaction with those agencies. Yes, the new development would be good, but what is the consequence to that? Do we give our input and feedback? You have to guide it. This other person was writing in relation to signage, saying just cross road signs. You're on this road, but what is that road? Are those things that we can? There's a cost, time, and money to install it, but what is the benefit? How many times we've seen our tourists sort of lost, or even ourselves? Well, where did he say he lived again? A new development comes online, beneficial to all of us, without it making it impersonal and the like. One other comment that was asking in relation to a caller, I just want to make sure I wrote it down correctly. When you were talking about management over beaches and the like, and this question was asking, are we looking at making some beaches off limits at certain times, opening and closing beaches in terms of weather and signage? Hopefully I read that correctly.
As far as I know, the plan doesn't address like an opening and closing time with regards to beaches. What I would say, though, is that one of the projects that my unit has in place now is looking at signage with regards to safety at beaches. And one of the beaches that we've identified to begin with that project is the Spots Beach. And we've been working with RCIPS, Department of Environment, and the gentleman from the Coast Guard with regard to what does that signage look like, and kind of collating all the signs that are currently at Spots Beach, putting them into one standard sign, and then outlining what are the various things that you should do, practice keeping your things safe, but then being aware of the currents in the water, and having various buoys placed for a designated swim zone. So that's something that we hope to have come online at the end of this year, and that's one of the projects we're working on now.
Yeah, think about that beach. It's beautiful. People who are probably from other places may come and see the water and think it's a lot like where they're from with their chop, and they can go and play, and then when they get in, this is a moving current, pretty strong, and unfamiliar, inexperienced, perhaps can result in, not what they were intending, and then, again, challenging. Again, this is where we, with the local knowledge, where we, with the vested interest, can partner with you to make sure things work well.
Absolutely.
Captured in our plan. All right. Let's pause quickly and take a short break. When we come back, we'll conclude the discussion with Jessica and the handsome, muscular Kyle. That's what his wife said to refer to him. All right. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
The Chamber of Commerce Business Excellence Awards are back. Saturday, October 27th at the Ritz-Carlton. Join in as we honor the contributions of the Cayman business community, celebrate the lifetime achievements of an outstanding business leader, and enjoy live musical entertainment. The Business Excellence Awards are proudly sponsored by the Ministry of Commerce, Brit-K, Caribbean Alliance, Coldwell Banker, Yellow Media Group, and more. Visit businessexcellenceawards.ky for more info. The Business Excellence Awards, Saturday, October 27th. For tickets, call 743-9129.
Did you hear that Vant Motors has your sale going on now? And you get your choice on the money you'll save on your new car or truck?
My sale? My choice? Really?
Yeah! And they have lots of cars on sale. Some up to $7,000 off.
Sounds pretty good.
It gets even better. You can choose to take the full discount or you can get some or all of it as cash back.
Extra cash back would be great.
Exactly! And you can even use the savings to extend your warranty or service plan so you'll drive worry-free for years longer.
Another good idea.
If you want to upgrade with something like a new roof rack or backup camera, you can choose that too.
Wow, I get to choose?
Yeah, that's why it's your sale, your choice. Going on now at Vant Motors on Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Come on, let's go.
Radio Cayman's Breeze Fusion Walk Run is coming. Saturday, November 3rd in Grand Cayman and November 24th in Cayman Brac. Visit CaymanActive.com to register today or stop by Radio Cayman on Elgin Avenue. This year's funds go to benefit the NCVO, the John Gray High School Music Department, and the So-and-So Club of Cayman Brac.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us as we have a chance to continue talking about the National Tourism Plan with the Assistant Director of the Department of Tourism for Finance and Administration, right? Better put that in there.
Yeah.
Mr. Kyle McLean. And the Manager for the Tourism Development Services, Ms. Jessica Pollock. Thanks for taking time to take us through the plan, and hopefully, whether we go online and download a copy or whether we pick up a hard copy, www.caymantp.ky. If for those who prefer to go online, look at it. It's not to say this in a disparaging way, but read an encyclopedia. I mean, it's not exhaustive. It is very informative and instructive, but it doesn't take that long to read. Mm-hmm. Even those of us who don't read as fast as some, we'll get through it. Right, Ms. Jessica?
Absolutely.
All right. If not, I can get DJ Lynn to read it to you. I mean, he's good at reading now. All right. Share this some more. I was just thinking of this survey. As we look at the plan, complete the survey as well to give our feedback. Go to the same link and that'll take us there.
Absolutely. And then if you prefer to have it in hard copy, you can come to our office at the Government Administration Building, and there is a hard copy survey there that you can fill out and leave, and that we will use that information to compile all of the final feedback for the plan.
Okay. And that's, as you said, that's the end of the month now, so it's not really that long away, but it's still time.
Yes, still time.
All right, and make it go through, and as we go past it. But what are some of the other things as we look at our discussion in the last minutes that should be key to us that we should not necessarily, ignore? With respect, people believe, that's already done and dusted. Mm-hmm. Is that something that we should perhaps get out of our minds, that it's a consultation process because we're looking for public consultation?
Yeah, definitely. Just to remind the listening public that the vision of this plan is protecting our environment, celebrating our cultural heritage, while ensuring a vibrant tourism economy that benefits all Caymanians. And the fact is that we are all stakeholders in this process. We are all, this document is applicable to me as I know everybody's cracking on accountants, but applicable
only today because you're here.
Exactly. But it's applicable to me. It's applicable to everyone else, someone who works at a hotel, and everyone else in this economy, who lives and works in this economy, simply because tourism has such a huge impact on these islands. And just to remind everyone to take part in the process. To just as the survey says, share your feedback. We're located on the third floor of the government administration building. You can, I think we've tried to pull out all the stops in terms of trying to consult with the public. So if persons want to have more information, the email address ntp@caymanislands.ky, the website caymantp.ky as well to get more information. And, I'll even, I guess, throw our phone number out there, 949-0623, should you want to call in and, ask to speak to, Ms. Jessica Pollock or someone on the tourism development side, or Ms. Gail Henry, who is the Deputy Director for product development as well. Myself, I will also put my name out there as well. But also, the Director of Tourism as well. So we're all open and willing to, to field questions and to try to get as much consultation as we can possibly get on this document, because it all affects all of us.
All right. It does. Honestly, it does affect us all. And even if we don't see ourselves as that taxi tour operator or the water sports operator or somewhere in a hotel, we engage with our tourists. I mean, our population is relatively small, whether we agree with the numbers that are put out, but we look at the tourism visitor. So the probability that 60,000 are going to interact with 2 million at the end of the year is fairly high. So you're going to meet somebody who's visiting, perhaps a repeat visitor, perhaps for the first time. Right? I mean, you're the kind give us the ratio there, Carl. 16 to a million.
High.
It's high. That's what I wrote down. High. Hopefully people know I say that so that people understand it. It is that thing, and then I think it's for all of us, whether we want a work permit, whether we're on PR, or whether we've been here for generations. We are ambassadors, and that job we have is probably, indirectly and probably more directly as a result of the tourism experience.
Yeah, there's no feedback that is not important. If you feel strongly about something, we want to hear about it, and we want to work together with all stakeholders, and we want this to be collaborative, and we want Caymanians and the persons who live here to feel good about this document and to feel confident in it, and to feel confident in the way that tourism is moving forward. And
let it reflect what we think it should be like. We understand. Some will argue from the cultural perspective, well, this should be enhanced, or no, this is not really what we think. But if you don't say, then silence sometimes isn't golden, right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean acquiescence, but it probably might be taken as such too. So we need to get involved, get a copy of the plan, read it, send our feedback in, and the like, and then to see the economic as well as the environmental impacts. Right. Once this feedback, for those who just rejoin us, I know you referenced earlier, but once we get the feedback by the end of the month, then what?
Then we will look at all of the information that we've collated. We will do any revisions that need to take place, and then the document would be finalized, and we would move forward with the implementation process.
Would that final draft or that final version then be out for at least public to see, if not even necessarily to comment?
Once it's finalized, I would imagine so, yes, sir.
Okay. Would imagine. All right. We do have a caller. It's Jessica Pollock, Mr. Kyle McLean, our guest. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Oh, I'm dry.
Wow. If you're dry. All right. That's good.
It's Kenneth Ebanks. I think you have, is it Kyle and Jessica?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, sir.
And young lady.
Good afternoon.
Just one or two comments and maybe one or two questions as well. First comment is that I am happy to hear that we're finally getting a tourism plan. How we have survived so long without one is a miracle in itself. For those of us who believe in miracles, because it's been now, 70 years more or less since we had the first hotel on Cayman. And just going along without any sense of what the ultimate goal is going to be. I think we've been lucky that we've enjoyed the level of tourism that we've now currently experiencing without a plan. Having said that, I'm a little disappointed that it's only for 5 years, because, you know, before you turn around good, that 5 years come and gone. I think it should have been for a little longer period, at least 10 years, 15, 20, 50 years. But 5 years, I think, is a bit short. I will submit some written comments, but right now I just want to say that we should really take this plan serious, and all Caymanians need to really get on board and offer their comments. We got, roughly 2 weeks left. The 26th is the deadline for comments.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the deadline. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so roughly 2 weeks. So I would urge all Caymanians to get on board and then offer their comments, because it's like playing the lotto. If you don't buy a ticket, you don't stand a chance.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, which is a topic for another day, okay?
We can do it tomorrow, man.
No, I played a number yesterday, but it didn't play.
What was it? It didn't hit something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I learned a lingo. I got police officer telling me.
Yeah, but no, I will offer some comment, some written comment. But again, I just want to say thanks to the minister and the department for at least moving forward with a proposed plan, and hope that all Caymanians would be up to submitting comments.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of things I would suggest that the powers that we look into. There's a thing called a penetration ratio, the number of visitors per square foot per square mile, we call it carrying capacity, etc., etc. We got 76 square miles on Grand Cayman. The 3 islands, roughly 100 square miles. When you look at Grand Cayman itself, roughly half of the island is not or doesn't get visited by the average tourist going into the wetlands, etc., etc. So you're looking at what, 35, 40 square miles, and if you're getting 300,000-400,000 visitors, the vast majority staying along 7 Mile Beach. Then all of a sudden now you're getting a whole lot more penetration on 7 Mile Beach. How does that affect the visitor experience? And there are numerous studies that recommend some minimum ratios. And I think we need to look at things like that carefully, because Tourism 101 says that nothing destroys tourism like tourism. And one of the main goals of tourism in most countries that use tourism as a means of trying to the next leg of their economy is cultural. A lot of tourists go to visit countries to participate in their culture. It's a way of promoting their culture and also developing it. Mm-hmm. But in the islands, it seems as though we don't have much respect for our culture, for our history. We knocking down what would be considered good Caymanian buildings. People go to Europe, America, different parts of the world, looking to see what these countries used to be like years gone by. Here we're destroying everything that was Caymanian and now replacing it with what? I mean, they can see in their own backyard. So I'm glad that part of one of their goals, strategies is the interdepartmental cooperation, because it is going to be very critical that planning, for example, know how the appropriate legislation in place to try and protect what is Caymanian, so that when visitors do come, they can see. For those of us who can remember, Galleon, Royal Palm, Holiday Inn, Beach Club, you go there and there was live music every night. Well, almost every night. Some had it every night, some had it on weekend. Nowadays, there really isn't that much entertainment at these hotels.
Those are things that I think, as we look at it, perhaps we need to reflect not just the change in economics or the environment or the culture, but there's some interesting dynamics at play. In interest, other respect to you, so I've got the news. Anything else you want to share with us?
Water sports. How many Caymanians are getting water sports? Ownership of restaurant. How many Caymanians ownership of restaurant? Hotels. Barbados has an excellent program where they develop these B&Bs. We're starting to get a few more now, but how many are actually Caymanian owned? And the mention was made about the workers, fine, but ownership of the businesses. I'm glad to hear that there's a fund being proposed. Again, I hope that Caymanians take advantage of that.
All right. Thanks very much, sir. I'll invite you, if you would. You just wanted to maybe share your inside intellect with our listeners, but respectfully.
My what? Intellect?
Yeah, man. There's some aspects of how those things,
You're too kind.
No, but I being reminded that I got a news break. Why I don't pay attention to that all the time. Hey, thanks for sharing. But if you want to stay on a call back so we can tap into that, please do so, okay? So we can talk about some other things.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. I got chocolate for you if you do. All right. Hey, thanks very much. Ms. Jessica and Mr. McLean, any closing thoughts you want to share, Ms. Jessica?
We just want to thank you for the time here today, Mr. Sterling, and we just want to again say that this is an important document, and we look forward to getting your feedback, and we encourage the public to read it and provide their comments as soon as possible.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much. And just like what the last caller just said, he gave his points, and then he said, but I will be providing written feedback, which is very, very important, especially coming from someone like himself who has a wealth of knowledge, especially in this area. So yeah, just a continued encouraging the public to give their feedback so that they can be heard.
All right. Well, caymanntp.ky, look at the survey attached to that as well. But please read the plan. When we come back, more talk today. Please stay tuned.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
The man aged 33 of Georgetown, who was arrested last Friday following a search in which a quantity of suspected cocaine was recovered, has now been formally charged with possession and consumption of ganja and possession of cocaine with intent to supply. He appeared in court this morning. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Militants are continuing to attack Afghanistan's northern Saripal province as officials say its capital will fall without reinforcements. At least 17 government security forces had been killed in the last 24 hours near Saripal city. Taliban fighters attacked the province on Sunday night with further clashes in 3 neighboring provinces. Tanzania's President John Magufuli has urged women to stop taking birth control pills, saying the country needs more people. Women can now give up contraceptive methods, Mr. Magufuli said. Opposition MP Cecil Mwambi has criticized the comments, saying they contradicted the country's health policy. Tanzania has a population of around 53 million people, with 49% of them living on less than $2 a day. And Serena Williams' claims of sexism in the U.S. Open final have been backed by the governing body of women's tennis. WTA Chief Executive Steve Simon said the umpire showed Williams a different level of tolerance over Saturday's outburst than if she had been a man. She got a code violation for coaching, a penalty point for racket abuse, and a game penalty for calling the umpire a thief in the defeat by Naomi Osaka. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we had the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Save 50% off a complete pair of glasses with any student eye exam. Now extended until September 28th. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook, located in the Caymanian Village. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
As parents and a community, it is our desire to have happy children who are able to cope with all of life's challenges. However, despite our loving support, sometimes our children suffer in silence and put on a brave face. Do you suspect that your child is experiencing problems, secretly struggling to cope, and is overwhelmed? If there is a possibility that they are anxious, experiencing troubling thoughts, and are suffering in silence, it is important to seek professional help. The Ministry of Community Affairs, in partnership with the Alex Panton Foundation, is hosting 5 community presentations on self-harm prevention this month and in September. These free talks cover how to spot the warning signs and who to turn to for expert advice. A question and answer will follow each talk. To get more information on the dates and venues of these presentations, please call 244-2426 or visit the Cayman Islands government website today.
Attention Breeze Fusion fans and supporters, registration is now open for the 12th annual Grand Cayman Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run. We're calling on you to help us in raising funds for the NCVO and for the John Gray High School Musical Department. Registration is only $15 for adults if registered by September 30th. The walk run will take place on Saturday, November 3rd at the Smiths Baccadere in Grand Cayman. But you must be registered by September 30th to take advantage of the lower fee. Visit CaymanActive.com to register today or stop by Radio Cayman on Elgin Avenue.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us, and honored to have had the company from the Department of Tourism of Ms. Jessica Pollock. She's the Manager of Tourism Development Services, and together with the Assistant Director for Finance and Administration, Mr. Kyle McLean. 2 young, passionate, dedicated, very diligent, intelligent, hardworking Caymanians who are, trying hard to make a truly invaluable contribution, not just to the tourism sector and their jobs, but to the country and the economy and the community as a whole. So let's borrow from their example and see what we can do to improve it. In relation to the National Tourism Plan, please get a copy. If you have a copy, look at it. If you looked at it before, look at it again. You can go online. I think it's caymannntp.ky and download a copy. Take the survey. A couple of questions might throw you off a bit, but maybe even in that, you might be able to send a response saying, hey, I looked at the survey, but I wasn't sure about this, or, well, what about that? Maybe it sparks some thought, some interest. The tourism sector affects, I would say, all of us. And think about it. You're a physician, you're working in maybe the government hospital facility, maybe you're in private practice. Probability that, one of the visitors may need your services. Hopefully not, because of some life-threatening, incident. But maybe they just, got scratched. Maybe got into some CH. Maybe, they picked up a bug or something. So even that sector impacts the tourism, and tourism impacts them. Let's take your calls. 949-837, 1-800-534-8255. Reminder to tell you that if you go on YouTube somewhere, you can see us somehow. Go right ahead, Google it, or just go to YouTube and Radio Cayman live stream and find us, subscribe, be a part of it. It's a good way to keep in touch with the guys here. They can certainly entertain as well as inform you as well. Hey, 949-837 or 1-800-534-8255. Share your thoughts with us. If you want to, you can WhatsApp 925-3261 is our WhatsApp number. You can even email, as some of you have taken to from time to time. Our email address is talktoday@candw.ky. Alrighty. We're going to open the phone lines up. Have DJ Lynn share his thoughts with us and sing. Let me switch it across and see where we go. Right, DJ?
Yeah, good afternoon again, Sterling. Just want to say congratulations, because a lot of times when people put on events and do events, they talk forward, but we never know what happens afterwards, especially if we didn't go to an event. Mm-hmm. But congratulations to the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens for their free vision screening that took place over the weekend. They had a great turnout, and a lot of people came out in support. And of course, they had free eye testing, and Optical Outlook was there. And so, yeah, congratulations to them. And want to continue to encourage people to, get their eyes tested and so forth.
Thank you for reminding us, because I think when we look at the Lions Club in general, but the Lions Club Tropical Gardens in particular, we see the incredible work that they continue to do in relation to their health and education initiatives. And so for those of us who support them, those of us who are members, those of us who are partners, continue to do so.
And we do have a caller.
Let's go to our phones. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I was good. How are you?
Oh, man.
I'm just looking into one of the real estate books here, and I've seen so many expats selling real estate. Can you tell me what the problem is that we Caymanians cannot sell our own property? That we have to bring in people to tell us what to sell and what is good and what's not good. And, they get the commission. How many Caymanians are not able to do that kind of work?
That's an interesting question. If I could, and only because just this morning, again, someone gave me a quick call. Because of the weather, we couldn't meet. But she was sharing two things. And I do apologize. I didn't get a chance to inquire formally or informally. But I gather from just on that, one, she was questioning whether there is something in our law in relation to granting work permits that your salary couldn't be on commission only. And so she was questioning whether people who are like real estate agents who are work primarily on commission, how are they able to get a work permit? Yes, one sale might be great, but it may be 6 months before you make a sale.
I mean, when you turn the pages, you don't see a real Caymanian. Everyone is an expat. The thing is, they don't know anything about the property or the land. They're just here to collect the big bucks. And then another issue I have, we have 4 Caymanians that are trying to survive. They are working for like 18 years or more, and their salary is just like $1,500 and $1,400 a month. They're trying to make ends meet. They're paying a mortgage. Can you tell me how they can live on $1,500 or $1,400 a month?
Sometimes you can't even survive making that a week. So
you know, and then there's expats here working for less. They're doing two jobs. I mean, Caymanians just have to survive on one job, yet there's expats here doing a job, going to another job. Is it something wrong with the work permit board or something? Because, I mean, the jobs that I see these people are doing, I know Caymanians are able to fill those posts.
You know, it's, as you share that, and again, I want to refer to the conversation this morning. The lady was giving that as an example. She was, you know, sharing that for the real estate sector, her inquiries were that it's becoming increasingly difficult to become, I don't know what word she used, but I interpret to be licensed as a real estate agent, as like through the agency. But she was sharing that in one instance, and I don't want to speak out of school as it were, but she was sharing that, you know, the person on the permit was working at job E, let's say making $500 a week, and then was working at job B, let's say making, you know, $500 a week as well. She was wondering, you know, why is it that people on a permit can work multiple jobs, just like you were asking? Interesting.
It is. And another thing, you know, this is the last Saturday night I was shopping into Foster's, and there was two ladies picking up a cake, maybe for some of their family members who had a birthday, and they had the food stamp voucher, and, you know, it's like, you can't get a cake on this. And I mean, what is wrong with picking up a cake if someone has a birthday and they don't have the means to purchase a cake? I mean, it's a part of food, you know. I would think that, you know, just give them the cake and forget about you can't get the cake or something. I mean, a cake is a part of the food, and it may be if they didn't have a job and they wanted their children to have a birthday cake, what else do they do?
So because of, I mean, they're getting assistance in that way, there's a restriction on what you can buy, and a cake would be excluded?
Well, I mean, I think a cake is a part of food, you know. Mm-hmm. And personally, if they didn't have a job and, you know, your child is not responsible for what you do or how much money you make if you don't have a job. But I would think that they would be able to give them the cake, you know, if it's a child's birthday. The children are not responsible for what's happening if they don't have a job or something. So, you know, I think all of this needs to be addressed, because there's people that are working for government and really can't open their mouth, and it's not right because they're like slaves in their own country.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, this is probably part of the reason why many of us don't understand exactly what transpires, because either, you know, we don't take time to know, or we're not directly affected by it. As you were sharing that, I gather from some individuals that more and more people are finding themselves in need of seeking government assistance because of decreased work hours, or actually being laid off work as well.
Well, I think they need to keep an eye out and see, you know, when one person can be doing two jobs and the poor Caymanians don't have one. They need to start and let the people that are doing two give the Caymanians a job and let them satisfied with just one job that they're doing, because, I mean, it's Caymanians can do the jobs. I don't know why you have to be doing two jobs and the Caymanians are out of jobs.
But how is that? I keep asking, you know, how is one person on a permit presumably being legally allowed to work multiple jobs? You know, leave employer E.
Well, we need to find that out too, because it's happening a lot. And I mean, I know certain people right now are doing two jobs, and you know, they're on one work permit and they're doing different jobs. And I mean, it's not fair to the Caymanians, because they need to have a job just like everyone else. And I mean, all you can hear, the Caymanians are lazy and they can't find a job. I mean, that's not true. Caymanians are very smart people, very smart.
They work hard, they industrious.
Yes, I think something really has to be addressed. I don't know what the politicians are doing. I mean, what they're happy doing what they have to do, but then what about the poor people that are trying and not getting anywhere? I mean, you know, this is very embarrassing for an island like this that said, oh, they're so, you know, Christian-like, and they're so financially well off and all. You know, they have to look at these kind of things.
How do we make it better? Make it so that there's a healthy
Well,
respect.
you have to ask the MLAs, how do we make it better? They're probably just making it better for themselves, but they're not making it better for the poor Caymanians that are trying. So I don't know how it's going to make it any better. Maybe we need another storm to come or another hurricane or something to try to make it better, because look like that, but you don't know how that we will start back again.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping we don't get one, but, something has to be done.
How much of what is happening is affecting the local populace? Do you think we realize, from the perspective of how difficult it is for Caymanians to make ends meet, how many people here who are on permit are they themselves falling through the cracks because some of them really are not as employed to the extent that they can be, making the funds that they should be in order to live, given that they're trying to send money back home to support their families there too.
Yeah, but we need to start with our people, because our people are hurting. You go to the supermarkets and you see people checking out, and sometimes they don't even have enough money. You got to give them $10 to help them. Your heart really goes for these people.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, why don't they have a job and other expats are here having 2 and 3 jobs? This is what we need to look after. Anyway, Sterling, I'm going to leave you with that. The MLAs will have to think about something, because they really need to do something.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for listening too.
No, thank you so much for taking care. Have a wonderful week. Be safe as well. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. It's the final break. Mr. Lane, do we have one final break to take? I better pay attention, because sometimes you don't pay attention, you get lost. And even when you get lost, you can't find your way if you don't pay attention. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam you could pass. And we have the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Save 50% off a complete pair of glasses with any student eye exam. Now extended until September 28th. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook, located in the Caymanian Village. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
As parents and a community, it is our desire to have happy children who are able to cope with all of life's challenges. However, despite our loving support, sometimes our children suffer in silence and put on a brave face. Do you suspect that your child is experiencing problems, secretly struggling to cope, and is overwhelmed? If there is a possibility that they are anxious, experiencing troubling thoughts, and are suffering in silence, it is important to seek professional help. The Ministry of Community Affairs, in partnership with the Alex Panton Foundation, is hosting 5 community presentations on self-harm prevention this month and in September. These free talks cover how to spot the warning signs and who to turn to for expert advice. A question and answer will follow each talk. To get more information on the dates and venues of these presentations, please call 244-2426 or visit the Cayman Islands government website today.
Attention Breeze Fusion fans and supporters, registration is now open for the 12th annual Grand Cayman Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run. We're calling on you to help us in raising funds for the NCVO and for the John Gray High School Musical Department. Registration is only $15 for adults if registered by September 30th. The walk run will take place on Saturday, November 3rd at the Smiths Bacadeer in Grand Cayman. But you must be registered by September 30th to take advantage of the lower fee. Visit CaymanActive.com to register today or stop by Radio Cayman on Elgin Avenue.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for joining us. It's 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. It's open line. A few minutes of the program remaining. If you'd allow me, if you haven't as yet, or if you have already and you probably want to take a look again, get a copy of the tourism, National Tourism Plan. It's a 5-year plan. Certainly go online and complete the survey that is there, as it takes you through some of the goals and strategies and the like, and maybe ensure that you become an active participant, at least have a say, let your thoughts be known, communicate them to the government so that they at least are aware of what you're sharing. 8949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Give us a call and share your thoughts with us and ensure that you have a chance to, contribute and to be a meaningful part of what we have as things go on. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. It's on a Monday, and I trust that we'll be in prayer, not just for our own safety and protection, but, for the others who are potentially in the path of what I gather from our weather people, 3 weather systems, 3 hurricanes, and some other little things in the area. We don't want anyone to be negatively affected or loss of life. So subscribe to prayer. Please do so. Remember us, but remember others as well. And don't panic, but be prepared. Don't become complacent. Remain concerned nonetheless. 8949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Got some time to take some calls. You dial us up, we'll answer it. We'll get a chance to patch you through as we go to our phones. 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. You can also WhatsApp 925-3261. And these are numbers that we offer up to you to call us each time, whether you call in here or you're speaking to him start on Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the record and share your thoughts with him equally. 949-8037. Now, just a quick reminder, we're a few days out nonetheless, but not this Friday, but the one following. Ray Banker is going to come back for another installation with us. He's working on some good things. He's got a couple of programs being produced. I know he's been taxed at work with his time and the like, having to find time to go to the archives and to do all the research. But it'll be interesting as he's ready to share with us what we're going to be doing for our next installation of See What I'm Saying. You'll be surprised. It's an incredible history that we have here. Believe if we were in any other part of the world, some of the accomplishments, some of the things that we've tried, some of the things that we've achieved, some of the stories that we have to tell, the historical, factual stories. Any other place would have leveraged them in so many ways that not just to make money, but to celebrate and to encourage a greater sense of pride. You would be surprised. But we'll get there. Small steps, big strides. 8949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. And again, a special thanks to all of you who are working and, making our roads and our communities safer. This morning, I share with you, up doing some things and that torrential downpour. I heard what I thought, this can't be the garbage truck guys out there collecting and this weather. Well, sure enough, they were braving the weather. So some of us were probably getting up, some of us were up working, some of us were probably just really snuggling, nice and tight and cozy, and yet they were out and about. So, for what it's worth, man, I'll take off my hat to you and say thanks. Maybe we can do some things just to make it even more efficient and show our respect and appreciation for when they come around and collect their garbage by having it out in a certain way, having it accessible, not impeding not only their progress. I mean, can you imagine this morning in that torrential downpour? If those guys didn't have to be out there, you think that they would be. But the fact that they're honoring, their work ethic and they come out and we get up, the garbage is collected. We don't have to worry about it. Well, for what it's worth, guys, thanks very much for doing that. It's not an easy job. There are those of us who work in water sports, and likewise, I've had to go out in the mornings when it's cold and rainy just to prepare for the day to welcome the guests on board. Whether the trip goes or not, we still have to be there. So, strong ethos amongst our people. Want you to come back tomorrow for more Talk Today right after the midday news and midday meditation. Be a part of our continuing programming here on Radio Cayman, and certainly help us to be able to help you. Let us know what we can do to make it even better, whether it's the music, whether it's the news we report, whether it's the programming otherwise. If we can make it better, please let us know. Have a wonderful, safe, blessed, and productive rest of this afternoon. May the week be equally exceptional. Please, 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 please be absolutely safe and careful. We're going to get our children from our schools. We're going to be taking them home into other, activities. Be careful collecting and taking them there. Even if you're on your driveway and in your garage or your homes, accidents can happen. So the rush to avoid the rain, sometimes just be a little bit more careful. And if you're just out and about driving for whatever reason, the roads are wet, probably, see the visibility diminish, perhaps not being as attentive, accidents can happen. So be slow and careful, be cautious and deliberate. And until tomorrow, be blessed.